Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hi, Iarley. How are you?
Hello, Jordan. Doing good, and you?
Good, thank you. So today I am joined by Iarley. Iarley is a current student on our Thunder Bay campus, and he is studying in a master's. But I will let him chat more about himself. I'll cover a bit about the introduction first, and then I'll pass it off to you. Okay?
Okay, excellent.
Awesome.
Sounds
So
good.
today we're doing another Thunderwolf Tuesday, and we are interviewing current students on Tuesdays and Thursdays on Instagram Live at 10 a.m. Thunder Bay time. This is a perfect opportunity for students who are interested in joining Lakehead to learn more about the student experience, learn more about certain programs, and ask questions of our student hosts too. So for those of us that have just recently joined the webinar, if you do have any questions for Iarley about his experience as a student, about his program, about his travels from his home country, please feel free to ask those in the comments. If you have any questions about Lakehead, if you have any questions about your application, that sort of stuff, you can also put those in the comments and I would be happy to answer them myself. Any general questions about Lakehead, those are also welcome here today. So please let us know if you have any. Otherwise, I'll pass it off to Iarley to introduce himself, give us his name, his background of what he studies, his hometown, all that sort of stuff.
Excellent. So, hello, everyone. My name is Iarley Libos. I'm from Brazil. Studying my, I'm pursuing my master's in civil engineering here in Lakehead. I come from a very different place where there's a lot of sun, sand, and in here is a lot of forest. It's very interesting. And snow too. So it's very quiet. It's very interesting, very good place to be. And yeah, I really enjoy dancing, surfing, doing exercises. So yeah, feel free to ask.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the quick introduction. So, what is your hometown back in Brazil?
It's
I
called
see the
Fortaleza. Huh?
I see the flag back there.
Yeah, big
Yes,
flag.
you have to represent. And you said Fortaleza is your hometown?
Yes, Fortaleza is how we say fortress in Portuguese, but it's
Oh,
Fortaleza.
awesome. And so you said that you had some passions for exercising, but also surfing.
Yeah,
So it's definitely a bit of a different atmosphere or climate than Thunder Bay. Obviously, surfing on the ocean within Brazil is a bit different than surfing on the lakes of Lake Superior. I know it's
for
possible, but I think you have to be brave for sure to be out there surfing when it can get pretty cold. Um,
yes.
so tell
Oh.
us a bit more about, I know that you also mentioned you had a passion for dancing. What can you share with dancing and like a little bit about yourself with that?
Actually, in Brazil, we have a huge exam. It's called vestibular. And to pass in the top level institutes, you have to one chance to enter in that institute. So to distress and calm down, I started dancing out
Okay,
of nowhere. And then that triggered something, and I actually love to do it now. It's one of my biggest hobbies, and I actually really enjoy doing it here too. So it's very cool. Like I love dancing.
awesome. And so I know that you've helped bring some of your knowledge and your dancing to Lakehead. Can you share with the audience kind of what you've done and what you started at Lakehead?
Sure, sure. Actually, I love dancing, and here I teach dancing. So in Lakehead, I'm the instructor of the Latin Dance Club, and me and some friends, we gathered together and we actually applied to open a club in Lakehead. So now we are an official club in Lakehead. So I'm very happy with that. More
Awesome.
than 1 year already.
Yeah, so you applied for the dance club. It's the Lakehead Latin Dance Club, if I'm not mistaken. You
Yes,
applied to that
correct,
through LUSU, which is the Lakehead University Student Union. Um,
correct.
so obviously, with the student union, there's plenty of clubs of all sorts of interests and hobbies and groupings, but there was missing for something with Latin dance. So you saw the immediate value in having that, be able to start that up on your end.
For sure. It was very cool. I was like, oh, there is actually a dance club which they do various different kinds of dances, but I like the specific one Latin, so why not?
And I've seen some videos and I've seen that it can be quite popular. And I'm sure all the students that have attended your classes have had a blast.
Yeah, it's very fun. It's to distress is a very good, I would call therapy. So
Awesome. And do
it's
you
very
have
cool.
a photo or a video to show the audience just a bit of a preview of the dance club?
Yes, I do have. Let me just check how can I work with this here.
Hmm.
1 second.
No worries. So if you pull it up in your laptop, you can flip it. Awesome.
We need some sound, right? A little bit of sound.
Sure, yes. And so this is your dance partner for one of the classes, or is this someone who you typically dance with always?
This is Suzanne. She's one of the formers. She really helped building the club too.
Uh,
So she and Madi, they are my helpers, and they are part of the club, uh, the people that manage the club.
yeah, they're almost like a part of the executive committee, the one that
Yes,
oversee like planning and organizing and all the behind the scenes. That's not just fun and learning the dance. You still have to get the specifics,
yes,
get the details down. Yeah, I totally appreciate that.
yes.
I
Very
do
cool,
want
right?
to answer a question from a student that I saw come through
Mm-hmm.
a minute ago or so. So the student is enrolling, or the question, pardon me, is enrolling for a co-op program in Masters of Computer Science competitive? That's a really good question. So Yarly, I know you're not in computer science, so I can
Yeah.
speak to that. Um, for students who are interested in completing a co-op, they do have to meet requirements within their program. So they have to be at a certain average range within a certain grade point within their average, so that we can ensure that when they go into their co-op and they go into that employer field, that they're already successful in their program and they have an understanding of the program itself. So what I encourage that student to do is actually to connect directly with the Department of Computer Science. If you visit Lakehead's website, lakeheadu.ca/international, you can either connect with us at welcome@lakeheadu, or you can explore our website, and you can find the contact information for the Department of Computer Science, and you can reach out to them directly. And I know that they're always happy to provide more answers and more details about that. We have another question. Can anyone join the dance club, or is it just for people from Latin America?
Everyone can join. Everybody is welcome to join, and the more the merrier. Is awesome. We have people from India, Pakistan, Canadians, Colombia, Mexico, Brazil. We
Awesome.
have people from everywhere there. It's very cool.
Yeah, and I'm sure only being a year old right now, it's still like it has so much time to grow and mature and like expand in that. Obviously, I know you've started to reach broad areas of the world, but that will
For
continue
sure.
to grow, I'm sure. And I've heard some really great stuff from some of our mutual friends and other students for sure. I know that
Awesome.
I recently did another Thunderwolf Thursday or Thunderwolf Tuesday with a girl named Catherine who is studying computer science at Lakehead. I know that she's done a few sessions and she's always
Yes.
just always had a great time.
Yeah, she's awesome. Catherine is awesome. Very
Awesome.
glad to hear.
So the next question I have for you, what made you
Hmm.
want to study abroad at Lakehead University?
Um, well, before, uh, it was more like a passion from for Canada, towards Canada, right? I did my undergrad in Canada,
Okay, yeah.
and I was something trigger again. I was like, man, I love this country. I want to go back one day. And then Lakehead was a great opportunity to come and settle here. So yeah, why not?
Awesome. So I guess even back to the beginning when you were pursuing an undergrad and you chose to study in Canada for your undergrad, was there something that kind of helped you determine that Canada was the right option to go study abroad, or even just studying abroad in general?
Canada, it was actually two main things. The first
Mhm.
thing was for sure the technology, like how things are made here, organized, and like very serious. And the second thing was I wanted to experience something different other than just like high temperatures. Let's say a beach environment. I wanted to experience something different. So forest and snow, that's
So you
completely
wanted
different.
a bit of diversity within your like climate and the weather that you were experiencing.
Yes.
I'm
Get
sure.
out of the comfort zone, right?
Yeah,
Learn
exactly.
things new and develop your experience. That's something I really enjoy.
So I know that you mentioned that you also wanted to have access to like some more advanced technologies within the learning. Can you speak to maybe some of the technologies that you were excited to use or that you were interested in learning more about within Canada?
Uh, Here, mainly the softwares are very good. I know people can have access to softwares everywhere, but here they are more accessible,
Hmm.
and the technology, like the materials, are uh, very well done. Let's say the methods you use are more sophisticated. Like it's not one piece by piece. You bring the entire, let's say, session of the
Okay.
construction is there.
Hmm.
Uh, a lot of automation. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting.
Yeah, and then I know you also mentioned, um, so you were in a big city for your undergrad. When you
Hmm.
decided to come back to Canada, was there a specific reason why you chose Thunder Bay? Just knowing that it was slightly smaller. It's still obviously it still has access to full amenities, just like a big city would, and you can do pretty much anything you can in a big city. But is
Yeah.
there a specific reason that you chose Thunder Bay?
Thunder Bay was to it's a yeah because it people here are more close, right? Like you have the chance to connect with the ones around you, and actually to leave my comfort zone. The Brazilian community here is very small, so I would be able to practice more my English and feel more comfortable talking in English.
For sure.
Because, yeah, I just normally read and listen, so talking is something I really want to try more.
Of course, yeah. And so when you were studying in a bigger city, it was kind of easy for you to go back to your community that was a Brazilian community or a Portuguese community and
Yeah,
kind of just speak with them on a regular basis where you weren't practicing your English. Whereas in Thunder Bay, obviously you still have some of those people within your community, um, but you're getting a more diverse interaction and you're getting to the key word there is interact. You get to talk with people and you get to gain those English skills and you get to learn more about other cultures versus being in a big city and just blending
yes,
in with the same crowd of people that you typically would be with.
that's very true. It makes all the difference for sure.
Awesome. So another question I have for you, were you excited for anything specific or nervous about anything before you left and joined us at Lakehead?
Um, it was my actually was my second international experience, so I was a little more like chill. I was more confident, and the the closer it was to enter the airplane, they expect like I was getting more nervous, but I was like, yeah, this is time for something new, and yeah, let's go for it, and let's make the best of it. But of course, I was very excited, and I was very confident because I always had a lot of support before arriving in Thunder Bay. I was always connecting, like talking, sending messages, and the reply was very fast. So I was confident, very confident for sure.
Awesome. And so obviously kind of the build up. You're excited about coming to Thunder Bay. You're excited about starting your next educational journey. And then once you get to the airport, once you get on the plane, it kind of sets in that you're leaving and you're off to the next adventure. Um, what kind of helped you relax in that situation? Whether it was something at the airport, when you actually got here, what kind of made the transition a bit easier?
Actually, the service Lakehead um, gives like a puts to every student that is arriving. They have a pick, pick.
Oh, it's the
Uh,
airport pickup.
yeah, the pickup in the airport. So they are actually a team waiting for everyone that is arriving. They will welcome you, uh, give you some nice. I received coffee and tea, and we go do the checkout of the luggage, grab everything. They give us a taxi, put us in a taxi, and send us to whatever place you're going. If you're going to in campus, they send you to rest. If you go outside, they drop you right in front of your house. So it's very cool.
For
That
sure.
was the best.
Yeah, I can speak a bit to the airport pickup service. So it's something that Lakehead International offers free to all incoming and new international students. So obviously, once you've already been to Thunder Bay or already been to Aurelia and you've arrived once, you won't get it the second time. But that very first time when you get here, obviously you've done the big journey to Canada, to Ontario, and now that last little transition piece of making sure that you get safely from the airport to your final destination, whether it is on campus or even off campus. We'll
Yeah,
put you in the cab and we'll send you on your way, but we'll make sure that you have the basic resources so you know what numbers to contact. You have a little goodie bag, so a welcome bag that has a few snacks in there, some guides, general brochures about Thunder Bay or Aurelia, about the bus system. And then obviously we make sure that you get your baggage before you head out. And of course, like with any airport, not just specifically Toronto or Thunder Bay, there could be issues with baggage. So if there is a language barrier, we can at least help you at the customer service desk with anything. I mean, I've worked a few airport pickups myself, and I haven't seen too many issues with baggage, but I know it happens. So it's nice to kind of have that resource, somebody who's familiar with how to deal with
yeah,
that, like speak to that. And all of our airport pickup team are trained to ensure that they know exactly how to welcome you the first few steps off the airplane, sort of.
for sure. It's very cool, very cool.
Awesome.
Uh,
So we do have another question for you. Um, what's the thing that you love most about Thunder Bay?
in here, I would say the people here, they are very, I don't know, they are I don't know how to express it, but it's like they connect with you very easily. They are very kind.
They're more
Um,
approachable in a sense.
yes, very approachable. Like you can stop and talk, and they stop, listen, and try to help you. That's very interesting. In
For
big
sure.
cities, people are just running, right?
Yeah, I'm sure with a big city, it's always that fast-paced energy and that go, 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 go. Whereas in Thunder Bay, obviously, we have the ability to kind of slow down and like think about what we're gonna say and like be accessible to people. So when students come and seek help from us, or even if you don't know where your class is necessarily, and you just need to stop someone and be like, "Hey, do you know where this classroom is? What building am I in?"
Yeah,
I mean, I can speak to it. I've probably already said it on one of these lives a few times now. But one of the first days of school for me at Lakehead, I did my undergrad at Lakehead in business. One of my first days, I could not find my class whatsoever, and so I stopped someone. I was like, okay, like I need to get to my class. It's this room, blah blah blah. Like I don't want to be late. It's my first day. It's my first university class. I was going to be so embarrassed, and they ended up walking me right to the class, and they're like, oh yeah, give me a second, and they walked me right there, made sure I got in the doors basically.
yeah,
And so like just being able to help each other out, and those first few weeks that students are on campus, everyone on campus knows that there's brand new students here that are experiencing everything for the first time. And
Yeah.
so they're even more so willing to help, and they're almost looking for it. Like even when I'm walking around, I'll keep my eye out for a student that kind of looks like maybe they're wandering or maybe they're lost or confused, and I'll reach out and I'll say, hey, like, do you need help? Can I get you anywhere? Are you looking for something? And then
Yeah.
typically it's a simple answer for me because I'm so familiar with the university, and it's
Mm-hmm.
so easy for me to show them the way. So
Yeah, the international office is insanely good. It's awesome. It's one of my favorite places.
thank
I
you.
always go there for a coffee
Awesome.
and chatting with all the people.
Oh yes, yes. All the workers there, all the advisors, all the coordinators are amazing there. I mean, it's a pleasure working with them, with connections to that team. Obviously, I'm in a different part of international, but we work quite closely together, especially with the transition piece and making sure students have a safe transition and a very hopefully easy transition from their home country all the way to when they arrive in Aurelia or Thunder Bay.
Yeah, that's very helpful. Thank you
Um,
for your help.
Of course, no worries. So I see another question. Could you please let me know when is fall term admission decision? So it definitely depends for that question. Depends what program you've applied for and at what level of study. For example, if you've applied to an undergraduate program, say for example, um, I'll use engineering. That's a good example since we're talking about civil engineering today. You can expect to hear back within roughly 3 to 4 weeks. It depends. So that is based on when we receive all of your documents and we have a complete application for you. So obviously, if you apply online or you apply through an approved agency, but you don't submit the documents right away, we can't assess just the application. We need to see those documents to start making that admission decision. If you did apply for a graduate program, so a master's or even a PhD or above, um, then those ones take a little more time depending on the case. So again, the faculty of graduate studies works with each program and each department to make sure that they have full knowledge of the background of that candidate. So they work within their own subcommittees. So they take a bit longer to make those decisions. And they also, offers are sent out on a rolling basis in some cases. So once we do have a full background and we have all of the details we need, we may not be able to make a decision right away, but decisions come out on a rolling basis. So maybe once your application is complete, we assess it, you could receive an offer in the next couple of days. And then for a student that maybe was a week behind you in submitting their documents, they could receive their offer a few days after that. Whereas other programs will hold off until like a specific date to then release all the offers. So for that student, if you're curious, you can reach out to us directly at welcome@lakeheadu.ca. That is our general email, and we'd be happy to look into that for you. So there's another question. Any dance clubs to join on the Thunder Bay campus and events to perform? So this is perfect for you. I'll let you touch on the Latin Dance Club of it, and then I can also maybe highlight some of the events that happen within our city.
Okay. Actually, our club, we work in a weekly basis, so it's a class for 2 hours. We go, we gather everyone, we have a session where uh, we just uh, we just do a gathering. Like everyone has the chance to meet everyone,
Mm-hmm.
and then we start the class. So we start from beginners to more advanced later, and actually to perform we try to do some performances, but the end of the year was too busy and coronavirus didn't let us do much. So we are planning to bring some events and trying different things. But for now, it's just a plan because the plans we made were completely
Fair enough.
not feasible right now. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Awesome.
you can actually join the Lakehead Latin Dance Club, and we'll be happy to have you and help you with that for sure.
Awesome. And then also to speak to a question that we had before, just to reiterate to some of our new viewers, any student at Lakehead can join the Lakehead Latin Dance Club. It's not specific to any sort of region. It's not specific to Latin American students. And as Iarley already said, there's students from all over the world already starting to join, with the club growing. Of course, given the current situation with COVID-19, you couldn't foresee some of those events and performances. But I know for sure when everything comes back and we're back on campus and students are back on campus with us, I'm hoping that you'll have an uptake in joining, especially from our incoming students now that they are learning about some of the cool
For
opportunities.
sure. Imagine going for a park and doing the class open. It would be very nice. I was so excited for summer, and I was like, man, there's so many cool things we can do. But now it's basically wait and faith. Yeah.
For sure. So we have another student who asked, they said that they're a student in veterinary from Algeria, and they wanted to study in a Canadian university, and they're wondering if they can. So for that student, if you are interested in studying within that biology field and even animal sciences, we do have programs at Lakehead that you can explore. What I encourage you to do is actually go on our website. So if you go to lakeheadu.ca/international, there's a future student tab, and then you can explore all of the programs that we do offer. I encourage you then, once you find a program that you might be interested in, read the full description, read some of the learning outcomes, explore what career paths are within that. And that will give you a really good idea if it's going to be the right fit, because what we want to ensure is that you pick a program that you're going to be passionate about, that you're going to be successful in, and one that you're excited to enter. If you do have any questions, of course, reach out to us and I'd be happy to chat more with you. Another question, is it possible to get a job with Google or Facebook if I take up computer science? So that's a really good question. I'm assuming that you are speaking to maybe a co-op. So if you are interested in doing a co-op, the co-op program is not restricted to any single company. We work with over 140 international and national partners around the world to ensure that our current students who are doing a co-op are actually doing it with different businesses, and the jobs are hopefully suited to your actual passions. So for that student, it's more on the emphasis goes back on you to actually kind of explore those options. And if there are job opportunities, you can certainly apply for them. And if you do apply for them and you receive them, then you work with our co-op office, which is the Student Success Center, as well as your program coordinator or your graduate studies coordinator in this case, to then make sure that that co-op lines up with the learning outcomes and the objectives that are required. Alrighty, so we have another question. Can we see part of your training dance videos, the Latin Dance Club, if it's possible? So if you want, could you show that one video again?
Once more?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Awesome.
It wasn't screened.
So this is obviously a sneak peek of some of the dancing that you do within the Latin Dance Club, and this is a part of that 2-hour meeting, you want to say?
Yes. So whoops. So yeah, we start for the beginners, and then we develop. So the first hour, we do all the basics and repeat, and then for the second hour, we try to implement new things. So I was very happy and very proudful for my students. They were doing very cool spins and combos. So that is a very small part. It's 7 seconds from a combo that takes like 1.5 minutes. So it's the first combo that we teach.
Steps and
yes.
Learning the different pieces. So obviously, if you want to do a full dance to a full song, that could be upwards of 4 minutes even.
Yeah.
But it's not all repetition. You have to learn every single individual part.
Yes.
And so that's a task that could take a long time, depending if you're, you have a passion for dance and you have the ability to kind of pick up and learn dances really quickly, or if you maybe need more practice. It really depends for each
But even
student.
with the basics, you can actually put yourself in the dance. So you can learn that and put your style, but the basic will basically be the same. What makes more challenging is how you spin and how you connect, like the small details, right? So
For
it's
sure.
very cool. It's very cool to learn.
So I see a question about pre-med requirements for NOSM. So I do encourage for that student that you do visit our website and explore the requirements on there. To be completely honest, right off the top of my head, I don't know the pre-med requirements for NOSM. So I do encourage you to visit our website, or if you feel more comfortable to just send us an email, you can email us at welcome@lakeheadu.ca, and we'd be happy to give you a full detailed uh, requirements background, provided that we actually connect with you. So that question is going to be more specific to maybe what your studies have been, what your undergrad was, all that sort of stuff. And then we can work with you to make sure that you're fully aware of those requirements. Another question we have here is computer science a good choice for AI and big data included in the course? So yeah, that's a really good question. We've had a few interviews with students from computer science. We've also done a faculty Friday with computer science. A faculty Friday was an hour-long webinar dedicated to meeting a faculty member. We had Salamir Chanduri join us, and he spoke about computer science, but he also answered your questions. So we had plenty of questions. I believe it was over 50 questions by the end of it, all about the courses and admission requirements and application requirements and all that sort of stuff. For AI and big data, we do have courses that do study those fields. I do encourage for the student who's asking to go online and explore the computer science department page, and they actually do a really great job of breaking down the courses that they offer, but also the different streams of the program that you can take. And it'll give you a good idea. Also, you can connect directly with the computer science department, and they're always happy to chat with you more about it. So I do see another question there. Well, I'll answer that one. Is there any cricket club in the Lakehead Thunder Bay campus? So that's a really great question. There is a cricket club on campus. So it was actually started by a group of students who were really passionate about cricket. And typically in the summer, they'll go out to any one of the surrounding like fields or open areas within the city of Thunder Bay, and they'll do cricket practice. To my knowledge, they don't compete competitively with other universities or other groups, but they do have their own games within their club. They have quite a large group. I know that they've made jerseys before, and then in the winter they also practice inside. Inside the hangar on the Thunder Bay campus. And then also speaking to the Iarley campus, I learned that they actually also started their own cricket club, and they have also been practicing indoor this winter. And I'm sure that this summer, provided that they're able to, that they will move outside and also be practicing more outside. I know that they've seen quite a bit of uptake from international students, but they've also seen some Canadian students and students from around the world just join in on the fun. So I would like to have an opportunity to chat with you about academics. So I see a few more questions coming through. What I'll keep them here, but then in the meantime, I'll ask you, so how did you end up picking your program? I know that you've already done your undergrad in civil engineering, but can you even explain kind of the backstory to how you picked engineering and civil engineering at that?
Sure. Actually, I started with biology. So,
Right.
and after some time, I was like, no, I'm not for these big names and complicated, like how they put the letters. Like, no, that's not
For
for
sure.
me. And I always had a passion to build things, and I was like, why not civil engineering? So as I was going through, I was like, oh, this is very cool. Because what most people think is civil engineers, they will build bridges or houses, but it's not about only that. Like we deal with soil, we deal with water, we deal with structures too, and we even deal with business if it's necessary. So I was like, man, this is a very interesting field that I want to explore, and it went very well for me.
Awesome.
So it was basically this.
So you had started biology within your undergrad, and then you decided that civil engineering was more lined up with your passions and something that you did want to pursue. So you did a quick program change, and then you completed your undergrad in civil engineering, and then you wanted to pursue further education within Lakehead, and you just chose to do your master's in civil
Yeah,
engineering.
yeah.
Awesome.
But the undergrad in biology was not in Canada, it was in Brazil. So I
Oh,
switched in Brazil. I switched in Brazil to civil engineering, and then I
mhm,
had the chance to come to Canada and do my undergrad and then come back again.
for sure. So what do you like most about your program so far? So I know that obviously, like we've talked about, you've done your undergrad. Specific to your graduate level, what do you like most about, or at least your program at Lakehead?
So far, like for sure, and I think everyone will agree with me, like the master students, the undergrad, is how the professors are approachable. So they are very close to you. They can become your friends. So they very understanding. They are there for you when you bring any issues. They understand. They try to solve and always guide you through the correct path. And that's like top prior. Like this is the best that I can tell. Is a very good detail that should be said.
For
So
sure,
yeah.
yeah. And speaking to that a bit, that the accessibility of the professors, do you see that there's been like a value in being having them be there and being accessible within your education and like needing help for projects or needing help for some of your schoolwork?
For sure. Actually, in when you're a grad student, right? Like you're doing a master's, you can choose a project. So imagine if you have a passion for a subject, and then you have a professor that's very like it's your friend, or you connect you connect to him or her easily. So
Hmm.
that's the best of the worlds, right? You can go approach them and ask, Professor, I really enjoyed this. I would like to research about this. What do you think? So they are most prone to offer you some opportunity if they have, which is normally the case, right? Because they need students because they want to develop research. So
For
it's
sure.
very interesting.
And I like the word that you used to describe them, and you said that they're friends. And in a broad sense, like even though there is that professional capacity and they are your teacher and you are their student, um, they're accessible and they're there to be there and support you. And that's almost exactly like what a friend is there for you. They're there to support you. They're there to help you along the way.
Yeah.
But making that connection with your professor can obviously be a huge success within your
Yeah.
program. So I want to ask, have you been involved in any research within your program?
Yes. I started, sorry, I started as a course-based student. And then, as I said, there was a professor that I was uh, I really liked his work. Like I was a big fan of his work. And then he offered me an opportunity, and I was like, of course. And that was very good. So I started doing my thesis based program. So I switched from course based to thesis based after being accepted.
Hmm.
And from there, I'm doing some work with him for sure. So
Awesome. And so I know that you have a photo to share with our viewers to kind of represent that research within the soils lab.
yeah, for sure.
So could you give us a bit of background of sort of what you're doing in this photo and what the lab is?
Yeah, so this is the soils lab in the civil department, like civil engineer department in Lakehead. So on the left here is a triaxial cell, and this is the frame where we put our samples, and we start our test. So we are testing the strength of the material under confinement, and we have a lot of sensors connected to a computer, and it's very interesting. So taking care of all the safety concerns and having the jacket, glasses, gloves, and
For sure, yeah.
hair has to be tied. So yeah, it's very
Not
cool.
get in the way, for sure, yeah. And could you maybe speak to a bit about like what thesis subject you're doing?
Yeah, right now I'm into the geotechnical field. So I'm researching about a material that will go into the mine, will be replaced. It's called cemented paste backfill. So it's a material that is used to replace the galleries left behind after a mine is explored, right? So they will remove, imagine tons and tons of rock from the
Hmm.
soil, like very deep, 1,000 meters of depth, and they will bring that, they will process, and this material will actually uh, enable to get all the tailings, which is the waste rock.
Hmm.
We can bring very large portions of that material back into the ground so we don't produce a lot of waste to the environment and also
Hmm.
give more support to the mine.
For sure. So as mines expand and they dig further into the ground and explore and do their work and all that stuff, but then once they start to slow down and decommission that mine, obviously they want to return it back to more of a natural state. And so that's something that you're researching, that cement paste backfill that you mentioned.
Yeah,
Um, so that's kind of your connection to civil engineering, like that, the idea of construction and structure and whatnot. But
yeah,
obviously, mining industry within Canada and specifically Northwestern Ontario is quite significant. So that tie-in with Lakehead and being accessible to all those mines, I'm sure, has been a great
yes,
set too.
yeah, it's awesome. Like it's very interesting the potential of it. So I
Hmm.
was very happy.
Cool. So another question I have for you is kind of, can you explain um, the process of doing the thesis and sort of what your experience has been thus far? So I know that you had to do a topic defense and you were preparing for your dissertation recently.
Yes. So how it works is, of course, you have to be accepted. So you have to be a thesis student, and from there, you must enroll in 4 courses and have your research, conduct your research, right? So after you have, let's say, a topic, you have to present a seminar to actually expose, like to tell what is your subject. What's your subject about? What are your um, contribution to the academy?
Mm-hmm.
And after it's again accepted, you start doing your research, and with your findings later after your seminar, you do your defense. So you complete your thesis document, which is called a thesis dissertation.
Yeah,
And after that, you defend your findings and you try to bring to the academy all the new interesting aspects of what you were researching on.
for
So
sure. And so when you are doing that presentation, it gives um, higher ups, like within academics, people that have been in the field for years at this point, the opportunity to question some of your research methods, questions uh, sort of the topics that you've been focused on, but also
yeah,
helps you. So some of those questions are clearly quite pointed to help you then expand your research or maybe even in a broader sense focus in on something that they specifically would like to know.
yes, the committee that will be assessing your work, they are PhDs and PhDs, so they are professional engineers and they are doctors, so postdoctors. So it's very interesting to to have those kind of help, because they are there to give you their background. So they wanna, oh, you can do for this way, so maybe you can try to find something better. So there's always like a support and a lot of good feedback to improve your work. So it's very important. It's very important.
For sure, yeah. So I know that you also have one more photo to kind of showcase um, a life-changing moment or something like really made you realize like I made the right choice in choosing Lakehead. So if you want to share that with us now,
For sure.
we can ask
Um,
about it. You can explain it too.
yeah. So when I lived in the in Res, I took
Hmm.
this the stop photo here.
Yeah,
So it was from my room, and I was there like, okay, it's a very nice view. The sky is clean. And then I took the second photo 1 month after, and I was like, oh my God, this is happening. This is very cool. Look how things change, like snow. That's what I came for, to get out of my comfort zone, as I said before, right?
sure, yeah. And
So
you mentioned that you had picked Canada specifically to kind of explore that adventure that is weather in general. So you were used to the hot climate where you could go surfing and enjoy the sun
yeah,
basically any time of the year, whereas in Canada we have those four distinct seasons. So we have the winter, we're in spring now, or we're going into spring, and then we'll be in summer, which is still very beautiful, and you can do some of the things
yes,
that you did back home. But having those distinct changes and distinct seasons too is really fun.
yeah. And here you can do snowboarding, skiing,
For sure.
tobogganing.
No,
It's very cool.
plenty of activities to do in the winter, and obviously born and raised in Thunder Bay myself, I can speak to a lot of the different activities, but obviously our international student services department, they are always hosting activities to help our students get out in the community and get involved or do fun and exciting adventures. And then also just in general on campus, there's so many different user groups and clubs and committees that are going out and doing exciting things within the community
Yeah.
and exploring winter. So it's really cool to see students get involved within that.
A very good advice for the students is always connect with your friends, because they
Mm-hmm.
are the family you choose here, right? So try to have good friends. And yeah, studying is very important. You should do that, but also try to free your mind a little bit. Have your friends go out. Like Thunder Bay has gorgeous places, and you
Awesome.
can see them 4 times in
Mm-hmm.
a year. Like they will be different. So
Yeah.
it's awesome. It's very cool.
So that can touches on my last question for you. Do you have any advice for future students before they come or once they get here? Pardon me, once they get here, specifically what you would recommend that they do?
Uh, One first thing, bring some like ad additional clothes and in your backpack, just in case,
Mm-hmm.
because you never know. Like some like a toothbrush, paste, like deodorant or something like that, and like a clean additional clothes. And as I said before, be open to new experiences, connect with people, try to go for the clubs. And if you don't like dancing, is awesome. It's okay too. It's fine. You can go for an engineering based uh, club, which is awesome. It's very
For sure.
cool.
There's also the
I
student societies that represent different faculties or programs. I know ESS is one that you were
Yes,
part of for the Engineering Student Society, but also within each discipline of engineering, they also have clubs. So civil engineering has a club, mechanical, electrical, um,
yes.
software, and I'm thinking, I can't think of the last one here. Either way,
Electrical,
all five disciplines
mechanical.
definitely have clubs. Um, and
Yeah, and try to
obviously
connect.
speaking to
That's
that advice of packing that change of clothes and like having some of your basic necessities with you in that carry on. Just speaking to like packing your important documents when you travel to Thunder Bay or you travel to Aurelia, having that in your carry on and very accessible. You'll need most of those important documents for the immigration process, and once you actually get to the airport when you land in Canada. But also,
Mm-hmm.
in the unlikely chance that your bag is missing when you arrive on your final destination, then you have that change of clothes and you have some of those basic necessities that you'll need. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did your bag, were you one of the unlucky ones to have a bag go missing for a day?
Yes, actually, it happened to me. That time, I think the company was small. I don't know. And when I arrived, like there was the Lakehead's group and team there to support
Mm-hmm.
me. And then I was like, yeah, let's grab the bag, right? So I was talking with people and trying to connect with them, and then we go to the luggage part, to the mail, and my bag was not coming, and I was like, oh my god, what happened? And they actually gave a very good support to me. We went to a place where we could actually claim the bags and say they were missing.
Yeah.
And we filled out a quick form. I entered the taxi. They dropped me in my place. And after one day, the bags were there, right in
Yes.
front of the door. So it was
Uh,
very cool. So
I know I've had that experience traveling just personally with my family where one of our bags has not made it to our final destination, which is typically home, thankfully, where the bag doesn't show up. And then within like a day, you have your bag because they'll find it, they'll locate it. There's cases where it missed the plane or they couldn't put it on the plane, and
yeah,
then it's on the next flight out. And I've even had it where one of my family members, we had our bags. We all arrived at like noon roughly, and our next bag got there at 3, so only 3 hours later. So obviously, it was a bit of a stressful 3 hours where you thought, "Oh my gosh, where's my bag?" But then it came through, so it was all good in the end.
yeah. That's why just bring something additional in your backpack. Always carry that, and you'll be fine.
Awesome. So I see we have like 5 minutes left until the end of the hour. So I'll answer some of the questions I see that we've been receiving. Um, One of the questions is for you. Which is your favorite hangout place in Thunder Bay?
There are two actually. I love hanging out on the campus, so I'm always around campus. I go from Starbucks to library to my lab to the coffee shop to not coffee shop to study. So I
Yep,
really enjoy study. International center. So I'm always going around trying to interact with my friends.
for
And the
sure.
second one is the waterfront. So waterfront is beautiful during the summer. You can actually sit there, relax, drink your tea, and just feel the breeze in your face. It's like something I did in Brazil. And during the winter, you go there for ice skating and throwing snowballs in your friends.
And it's a
It's
really
very
great
fun.
to walk around, have access to nature, but also just be like connected and see this great view of the lake and Sleeping Giant, which is a historic landmark in Thunder Bay. And obviously in the summer too, I don't know if you've experienced it yet, but the city will put on free concerts,
Yes.
put on free movie nights, which is really exciting. So the city will invest that money. So they'll spend quite a bit of money to bring artists from all over Canada to Thunder Bay, and they'll perform free to anyone who wants to come out. So it's always a great time. I typically find
Yes.
myself there on my free nights in the summer.
That's very good. Like good food around, good
Mm-hmm.
music,
Yeah.
views. It's awesome. Yeah, summer is very cool. That is true.
So I see another question is Lakehead Georgian a good choice for computer science? So thanks for the question about Lakehead Georgian. Um, it is a really great program. It's a new program for Lakehead, and we're exploring it. So two of the first 2 years are actually completed on Georgian College, their Barrie campus, and then the last 2 years, so third and fourth year, are completed on Lakehead University's Aurelia campus. So it's a collaboration with both that college and Lakehead University. So we are providing, in a sense, the best of both worlds. So you get your college diploma and your undergraduate degree all within the 4 years, and you get it from the two different institutions. So And tied in within that too is a learning experience where you go on and you work with cooperative education for another company. So I see a question, is BEng degree superior to Bachelor of Science? So that's a good question. It's a very hard question because you'll hear different answers from basically anyone you ask. I'm definitely not a speaking authority to say which degree is superior. It's actually what I 100% encourage as somewhat of an advisor is students to pick a program that they know that they're going to be passionate and they know that they can be successful in. So the one thing is that you should pick a program that's something that drives passion in you, that you want to see change within, or that you want to learn more about, because once you find that passion, once you're dedicated to that program, you will excel within that program. So thank you for the question. I see another question. I'm curious about positive cases on the Thunder Bay campus and about the city. So right now, as far as we know, there have been no positive cases linked to either of our campuses at Lakehead University. There are cases within the region of both Orillia and Thunder Bay. But if you do want to learn more, our senior management team has been monitoring the situation extremely closely, and they are making decisions and changing policies and procedures to make sure that our faculty, staff, and students remain safe during the situation. Obviously, it's evolving day by day, so answers are not definitive immediately right now, but the answers will come out in the near future about some of the general questions that we've receiving. For any students that are curious or would like to know more, I do encourage, if you visit us at lakeheadu.ca/about/coronavirus, we do have regular updates there from all of our administration, so upper management team, as well. We have an FAQ, so for current students as well as future students, so incoming. We have updates about your applications, admissions, all that sort of stuff. So I do encourage you, if you have any questions at all, please send us a quick message and we'll be happy to answer you too. So we have a question. I have several questions. I want to go to Canada at the end of the year. I want to enter what is the medicine part. So that's a good question. So we don't have a program specifically called medicine at Lakehead, but for students that are interested in that science/healthcare degree, I do encourage you to explore our applied life sciences, and then there are further specializations within that field. It's been a very, very popular program, and it's also a really good segue into medical school. But for that student, I do encourage you to definitely check out our website, lakeheadu.ca/international, and explore all our programs. So I see a few more questions. I also have a timer here counting me down for Instagram that we have just over a minute remaining, and then it's going to boot us off after the 1 hour mark. So I'll answer this one question. So this one's actually for you, Iarley. Have you had any adventure sports in Thunder Bay? And have there been any spots to hike the Thunder Bay campus?
Yeah, there is one regarding the adventure sports, right? I did play hockey with some friends over the tumbling lake. So it was very cool. It was one of my first experiences shooting the puck. So it was very cool. I'm not good at it, I admit. It's very hard, but it was a very nice experience. And for hiking, there are many hikes around town and a little bit further. Yeah, they go from very easy, like kids friendly to like very advanced. So I would recommend the Sleeping Giant one if you really enjoy hiking. Like we did it in 9 hours, around 9 to 10 hours. So it was a very cool hike. And in campus there are many places near Deer Lake Ridge. So we go around the.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I see that we have 10 seconds remaining for the webinar. So I do encourage, and I want to thank everyone for joining us today. I'm about to be booted off, so hopefully we'll see you at another one soon.